So since they're asking for set builder notation, we're going to have the brackets, x, and the bar. And so the least number it could be is -4. So it'd be -4 is less than or equal to x. And the highest number could be 3. So it would be x is less than 3. So, since it says the set of a whole number greater than 100, you have to close it and put x equals whole number since it says number greater than 100 is x, since it says it doesn't have to it has to be open, not closed. So since it has brackets, I guess that you have to find the negative and the positive out of the 7. So we're going to do 2 equations, and it's going to be -3c, and then plus 2 because that never changes. What only changes is the equal sign. And then the other equation is going to be -3c plus 2 equals -7. So we're finding the positive and the negative. So we're going to solve for it, and that's going to be -3c equals 5, and that's going to be -3c equals -9. And then once we have that in both equations, we're going to solve for c, and we're going to divide by a -3 so it can cancel out and on both equations. So that's going to be c equals -5/5/3, and c equals 3. And that's both of our c variables.
So we start with lambdas, which is going to be that we have to add -3 on both sides. It's going to be 456 4 plus 10. Then we're going to have to divide by 4 on both sides, which is going to give us 14. And since it's absolute value, we have to split it up. It's going to be 8 plus 10 equals -14. And then 8 plus 10 equals 14. And from there we have to subtract 10 from both sides. It's going to give us 8 equals 24. Divide 8 on both sides, and equals 1/2, divided by 8, and then 8 equals 4.
Amazing. Awesome. No, that's great.
So whenever you have little bars. To get rid of them, you have to do the plus and minus. So it'll be 6x, and then this turns into an equal sign, so it'll be 6x equals positive 24, and 6x equals negative 24. And whenever you change it to a negative, the sign flips, so it will be greater than, and this will be less than. So when you solve for x, you'll divide first to get rid of the 6, and divide on both sides, and x equals positive 4. For the other side, you do the same thing, and x will equal negative 4. Now when you graph it, you'll have positive 4 and negative 4. And you know that they're open circles because it's not equal to 4 or negative 4, so they will just face opposite directions. And that's all.
So the first thing we have to do is in them say subtraction -1. So we do that, and it will give us a negative absolute value of 3 plus 2x is less than or equal to negative 3. And the next step is to divide by negative 1. This cancels out, and negative 3 divided by negative 1 equals to 3, but we also have to flip it to this sign. So our new question will be 3 plus 2x is greater than or equal to 3, absolute value. And to get rid of the absolute value, we have two equations. So what's next is we have two equations, a negative and a positive. So it will be 3 plus 2x is greater than or equal to 3, and 3 plus 2x is less than or equals to negative 3. So now we solve for x. In this one, it will we subtract -3, which will give us 2x less than or equals to 3 minus 3, which will be 2x less than or equals to 0, and put them with the divide by 2, and x greater than or equal to 0 is the first solution. And for the other one, we just subtract by 3 to x less than or equal to negative 6, divide by 2, divide by 2, and x is greater than less than or equals to negative 3, and that's the solution. Or both solutions are x equals to 0 and x less than or equals to negative 3.
So since the c can't be negative and positive, it has to equal, c has to be bigger than 0. C can't be bigger than 0. Because if c is bigger than 0, then there would be a solution. There shouldn't be a solution.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, it says y equal to 3x reflected in the x-axis, then translate 3 units up. So if x equal to 3x, since it says reflected, we have to put a negative in front of 3, and then it says 3 units up plus
3. So that's the final answer.
Oh, so fx equals x squared is the original. Then they said to make it to the gx, so we put x squared. Then we see that it says 2 units to the left, so we put plus 2 because it's on the vertical, meaning that it's on the x-axis. So we put plus 2, and then the parentheses. Then it vertical shrink by a factor of 3, 1/3. So we put 1/3, then equals. That's what I got.
Yeah, x squared. Vertical shrink looks good. We're gonna move it 2 units left, and then it's a quadratic. Looks good. Thanks, bud.
Okay, so for number 12, since it's a horizontal stretch by a factor of 5, it means that it's gonna go inside the grouping, and you're gonna have to flip it. So g of x, and then it's a reflection in the y-axis, so it's also gonna go inside the grouping. So it's gonna go g of x is the square root of -1/5x.
So f of x is e to the power of x. So since it's being translated 2 units to the right and 3 units down, it's going to be p of x. And we're going to have to fill in the exponent. So it will be e to the power of x minus 2 since it's being translated to the right, minus 3 since it's being translated 3 units down.
Questions on that?
So number 14, it shows us that the total cost is 0.50 t represents each topping plus 18. So that's the original equation. And right here it tells us that the cost of a medium is half the cost of a large pizza with the same number of toppings. And it's asking us to make an equation that represents the medium pizza. So we all know that medium means half, so this represents a vertical shrink by 1/2, so it would be c equals 0.50 t plus 18, and this would all be multiplied by 1/2. So that a calculator. Messed that up. So 1/2 of 0.50 is 0.25, and 1/2 of 18 is 9. So the formula for medium would be c equals 0.25 t, which represents each topping plus 9, and that'll be the formula for medium size.
So, question 15. We have 3 equations. 2x plus 6y equals -4. X plus 3y plus 5z
equals 3. Now, we know that y equals -2, so we just substitute in the second equation, so it won't be harder for us. So 6 times 2 is 12. So what I did is to subtract 12 both sides, negative 16, and 2x. So divide by 2 both sides as well. You'll find x equals -8. So now we know if we have that x equals -8, and we know that y equals -2. Sorry. Okay. I think I saw it a little bit. Yeah, I think I missed something.
It's totally fine.
So that's -2. Awesome. See, that's what I did. That's what I did. My bad. This is x equals 4. So 4 plus 6 2 equals 3. You have them up. So you have them up.
So for number 16, you have 2x plus y equals 11. X plus y plus z equals 4. 2x plus y plus c equals 9. So for the first step, you have to use the first equation and then look at the second one. And I noticed that if I multiply the second equation by a negative, it will turn into negative x minus y minus c equals -4. And so then when you subtract that equation on the first one, you will get x minus z equals 7, and then you have an equation. So you go into the second step and you look at the second equation and the third equation, and if I subtract the second equation by a negative, that will easily cancel out the y. So subtract minus x minus y minus c equals -4 again. You'll get x minus 4 equals 5. So then we found x, and then we can go to the fourth step and use the equation we had. So we plug in x, and that is 5 equals 7 plus And then when you try to find y, you have to subtract 7 on both sides. You get c equals -2. And then we can go back to the first equation and plug in x and z. So when you do that, you have 2x plus y equals 11. And then, so now we're just trying to look for y, so we plug in the 5 we found on the first one, and it's 2 times 5 plus y equals 11. 2 times 5 equals 10, plus y equals 1. And then we subtract 10 on both sides. Oh, yeah. So you subtract 10 on both. This is 11, so you subtract 10 on both sides, and then you just get y equals 1. And to make sure that that's correct, you can plug it into another equation. So you can try the last one. I made a mistake. I thought it was the one that was 11. And so when you have, you can try the last one too. 2 times 5 plus 1 plus -2 should equal 9. 10 plus 1, that's 11, minus 2 equals 9. So, and then 1, -2.
Alright, so for problem 17, we see that this is a pretty challenging equation. So what we did was we put it into the matrix and went on the calculator, and we typed in menu 711, and we put in the number of rows, which is 3, and then we did the number of columns, which is 4, and we typed in -1, +4, and +5, and then equals -5, and then we typed in 1, and then -3, and then +1 equals 9, +3, +3, and so all we do is just plug them in. It's pretty straightforward. So this is pretty, when we press enter to get our answer for the matrix, you see that we get x equals 1, and then c is going to be equal to 19, and then c is going to be equal to 0, and then for the second one, we see that we get y is equal to 1, and then c is equal to 6, and it's equal to 0. So this equation is no solution.